Alright, sorry. You got clickbaited. I don't really feel like I peaked in high school. But I ain't gonna lie, I do know a lot of people who did peak in high school. It's a pretty sad thing to see, but pretty humorous at the exact same time. The older I get, the more I feel like high school was literally just a simulation or some type of like social experiment or something like that. There's no way that high school was real. Now, as a 21-year-old man, looking back at what I used to think about when I was like 14 through 18 just seemed ridiculous to me. And even just the perspective and ideas I had about the world. Obviously, that was because my worldview was so limited at the time, as it is for every other high school student around the country. Bro, when you're in high school, bro, you really feel like that's literally your entire life. The whole globe revolves around this random high school from wherever you're from, with probably 1,000 people who go there. I went to a fairly large school for my area. My school had 1,000 people. It's nothing like Texas that has 10,000 people in the 9th grade. Texas, y'all really be on one. Y'all be having like Pizza Huts and Starbucks in your cafeteria. Now, I ain't gonna lie, we did used to get Domino's and Papa John's. That was the farthest we ever got. But y'all really in here having like whole fast food restaurants in y'all cafeteria. Louisiana is so unfair. I swear to God. Anyway, like I was saying, it's a lot of different people who peak in high school. And honestly, when I started really thinking about it, I feel like it's like a few archetypes of the people who do this. The first person who does this is the athlete who turns gangster. I feel like a lot of the time this is portrayed as just some athlete who was good all their life, and then randomly after high school they just turn into some just super young boy El Chapo type of person. Which, don't get me wrong, is the case sometimes, but a lot of the time I feel like the people who turn from an athlete into a gangster was kind of like already headed down that path anyway, and they saw being an athlete as a way to like get them out of the situation they might be in. I ain't gonna lie, it is like super weird to see somebody who's trying so hard to stay on the straight and narrow literally just drop everything after they graduate and they realize they're not going to the NBA. The same dude you saw posting highlight videos and just constantly grinding on his story is the same dude telling you 2 for 10 on his story now. And I don't understand why you would ever think that going down this path is a good choice. Because, buddy, you're going to jail. Even if you do manage to get up and you do manage to build your empire and clientele, and somehow you're able to just start trapping and really making bread, we all know this path leads down 2 ways. And that's jail or being unalive. And quite honestly, if you go to jail, you might as well be unalived, because you really can't do anything. Now, no offense to anybody who's going to jail, because I've seen many people go to jail and come back and be reformed. But the dark reality is, once you go to jail for something like super, super serious, it can be super hard to shake back. But anybody who might be watching this video, and if you're in that position, don't give up. I promise you, you can get back on your feet. The second version of an athlete who really peaks in high school is the person who like really just can't forget what they did in high school. Now, I was a wrestler and I was a #1 ranked wrestler. But the moment I finished my last match and I walked off the mat, I realized none of that mattered anymore. And that was only confirmed more later through my life whenever I would go talk to people about what I did in high school, and they don't care. Nobody cares if you were bad. Nobody cares if you were good, unless you're literally playing professional right now. And for some reason, the people who peak seem to fail to realize this. Bro, don't nobody care that you was a state champion 5-10 years ago. You walking around your carpentry job with your varsity jacket on. Bruh, let it go. It's funny because when you're in sports, you really feel like it's the only thing that matters. I specifically remember being like, I gotta be #1. They're going to remember me. And now I could really care less at how people remember me in the wrestling room. Everything you do for sports during high school should literally just be for you, because that's the only person who's gonna care about what you did in high school. Now, obviously, it is cool to have certain accomplishments and to be able to remember that and look back on it and have a happy memory with it. But again, that's all for you. And the people who fail to let this go seem like they just forget that there's other stuff to accomplish in life. Let that title go, my boy. I promise you, nobody is checking the stats from 10 years ago, bro. To be completely honest, nobody is checking the stats from 2 years ago. They forgot you existed. The other people who seemingly seem to fall off at the high school is the people who were super smart and they got by without doing anything. Now, I must say that this was definitely me. During high school, I did not realize how easy classes was. You literally didn't have to do anything to pass. If you pretty much did your homework and gave 10% effort when you showed up to class, you were going to pass. That's why I never understood people who failed high school classes. I feel like they would pass you for just giving like an ounce of effort. And then if you was really trying to get an A, it was so easy, bro. They would have Quizlets that was literally the exact same format as a test. I'm talking about same questions, same answers. Honestly, they basically packaged it up and just put it in your hand. If you was failing in high school, you don't have nobody to blame but yourself. And honestly, firsthand, the only people I know who actually failed in high school was literally just the people who didn't care and never tried. The other people who peaked in high school was the people who was gangsta in high school. I'm talking about the people who never came to class, the people who dropped out, the people who was probably dealing and partaking in illegal activity while they were in school. Now, the reason I say they peak in high school is because I feel like in high school, this is looked at to be pretty cool. I ain't gonna lie, they usually get girls on their meat. They usually get respect by dudes. And even if somehow they do get in trouble with the law, usually they're probably underage, so they're not gonna get any real serious consequences. But the moment you graduate and you become 18, all of that changes. I feel like most of us get jobs, we go to college, we start chasing our dreams and trying to be successful in life in some type of way. And the people who stay doing this type of activity, we just know it's not going nowhere. And honestly, a lot of the time, the praise that those same people got turns into ridicule. Because again, just like I said with athletes who turns gangster, we know how this story ends. I'm not talking about the people, you feel me, who might just do a little, you feel me, extra something on the side every now and then. I'm talking about these people who literally turn into like career criminals. And unless you start rapping and become like young boy or something, you're probably never going to get that far. The other type of people who peak in high school is the smart kids who are pushed by their parents, but they don't actually like school. Bro, we all know the person in class who was like, I gotta make an L on this test or my mom is gonna beat me up, literally. And I ain't gonna lie, I had so much sympathy for these people in this situation because my mama pushed me hard too, but they were literally acting like if they didn't get an A, their mom was not gonna feed them. And the reason why these people usually peak in high school is because these people's parents are usually so strict that they don't let them do anything while they're in high school. You don't see them at no parties. You don't see them at football games. You literally don't see them doing anything social ever. Their whole life and identity is school and books, which yes could lead to short-term success. But when they go out to college and they have all that freedom, they can do whatever they want, it backfires horribly almost all the time. I've seen some of the smartest people straight drop out because they literally could not handle having that much freedom and they don't know how to balance anything. To bring it back on me too, I struggle with balance too. I'm a person who is literally all in or all out. So for the first 2 years of my college, all I did was go to work and go to school. I didn't go to no parties. I didn't do nothing. My friends ain't see me. I wasn't even taking care of myself. I didn't get no haircuts or nothing. And yes, it led to some success during the time, but at what cost? I ain't had no life. I ain't had no experiences. It literally took somebody at my job to tell me, hey, bro, what if you unalive tomorrow? What memories are you going to have? You're not going to be able to say you did anything. And just like that, my mind immediately switched. I realized that I had to do some fun things, but also get my work done at the same time. Heavy on the get your work done at the same time, because a lot of people like to just party and not get their work done. That's what college really teaches you more than anything. It teaches you balance. It teaches you how to put your time towards something productive and still have time for your friends and to do the things you love in life. Because we all know the stuff that they actually teaching us in college literally has no use whatsoever. Trust me, I go through the ringer in my head every day as I'm studying organic chemistry. Somebody save me, please, Jesus. If you're in high school and you watching this video, life after high school is just what you make it. You can literally do whatever you want to do. You don't even have to stay black. Michael Jackson didn't even do that. You literally have the power to make your life whatever you want it to be. And my best advice to somebody who's coming out of high school or maybe even graduating and just don't know what to do with their life is to truly follow your passion and to truly do what makes you happy. To quote Martin Luther King, if you want to be a street sweeper, just be the best street sweeper you could be. Do not follow to some of society's pressures saying you got to be a millionaire by the time you're 19. Because trust me, as a person who's touched a fair amount of money, I would say that money will not make you more happy than literally having good people in your life and doing something every day that you're truly passionate about and that you truly have a vocation for. If you like this video, leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below if you want to see a part 2. I'll do some more archetypes for people who peak in high school. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video and go check out some of my other videos. You'll probably like them. See you next time.